Welcome, part 2. How are you going to spend the remaining time that you have? I think this is a critical part. You are living in history, real-time history. I don't think you'll forget this. How did you live? How did you adapt and overcome to unprecedented threat levels? You're watching the currency collapse. Yes, it is a paper currency since 1913. It has no backing by gold or silver. It's in the people's faith. We've woken up to the Federal Reserve being unconstitutional as a financial banking cartel, as I declared it myself. You found out that there are unprecedented Americans that have been foreclosed. The real estate meltdown, the credit meltdown, the commercial real estate is melting down. You're watching the economy melt down. You're watching an insane and irrational multi-trillion dollar bailouts back to back to back and no accountability. You're watching I don't even want to call some of these people Americans. I'm just going to say people that you vote in as congressmen and senators who seem to help dismantle the Constitution and kiss the ass of lobbyists, kiss the ass of corporate America, the United Nations, and so forth. And then they come into these town hall meetings this summer and they're pissed off Americans. And some of these elected officials are playing the victim card. They're the victim because you're mean. You're saying you're pissed off. Some of you are screaming. Well, I think the American people have a right to be pissed off and angry. Not violent at this point now. No preemptive strikes. If you don't express your voice, now you may not get another chance. They're working on making it where they can suppress you through unconstitutional legislation and acts. You're aware of that. I thought I would mention it because that's current and happening, and it may escalate. I mean, they have to have bodyguards. And I'm not advocating, don't get violent with these people. I don't like them either, and I don't respect those politicians. And yes, they can piss me off. But if you cross the line and get violent, you're going to play in their hands. And they're manipulators. They are evil bastards and evil bitches. I'm not going to call their names. You know who they are. They have the arrogance to think they're above you. And you're not supposed to get upset, especially in public. Well, they're going to, remember, some people have to play the victim card so they can avoid accountability and avoid responsibility. And that's what a lot of these politicians are doing that are dismantling your Constitution. They are not complying with the Constitution, and they are, if somebody wants money for bailout, they apparently do it. And they have enslaved unborn Americans. They are putting your grandchildren that are not even born yet into slavery, economic slavery. They'll never get it paid off. It seems like this country is on a self-destructive path, and you're on this massive jet of 300 million people, only as an analogy. So any jackass out there won't say that I said 300 million Americans are on a jet. There is no jet that will take 300 million people. This is an illustration. And fools, imbeciles, and corrupt bastards are piloting us into a collision, an inevitable collapse. Now, again, how are you going to spend your remaining time? Be careful about burnout, preparation, talking about it, learning new skills can lead, for some people, toward burnout. You have to be able to step away sometimes. I don't spend much time on the internet. My wife does. She created this account in February 2008 so I could look at American people. I don't agree with everybody, and everybody doesn't agree with me. Hell, I don't like everybody, and everybody doesn't like me. I don't care. I'm never going to be the person that's voted most popular. That doesn't bother me. But I enjoyed seeing a wider scope of vision of Americans, even if it was through some virtual concept and other means. However, my family spends more time on this channel than I do, and that's how I choose to spend my time. I'm trying to leave them something tangible. I'm trying to perform something that will help this family, and my unit with limited resources. In the event this collapse does occur, you will have multi-threats, multi-fronts, and even for experienced persons, it is a great challenge to deal with this many fronts, this many threats, and multi-enemies. And I'll speak about this in upcoming videos. Furthermore, you will not get a second chance to complete your preparation, and your tactical preparation, your contingency plan to respond to threats is very important. Once the major critical incidents begin to occur, you will not get a second chance for your preparation. You will be living in the post-incident period. And I'm going to break it down a little today. I've said before, you have the pre-incident period, which you're in now, and it's closing, but unprecedented multi-critical and multi-major critical incidents are looming over the United States and parts of the world. No one person could manage this by themselves. I can reverse engineer something, but I need a team and a unit. But not multi. This would take a massive amount of staff trained to do this. It's complicated reversing something like this. You have to have the scope and the depth and the ability and the application to reverse something, so you can start here seeing a sorting and trying to conclude, is it real or not? How close are you to a timeline? Not defining the timeline, but trying to discern how close and what resources need to be implemented and alerted to respond to it. Or end up fighting like hell, fighting your way out of it. When the pre-incident period closes, it's gone. Then you have live, real-time critical incidents and major critical incidents, hell and destruction, which can escalate into violence, which becomes the post-critical incident period, where you have the executive orders, PD 51, the Patriot Acts, the 2006 Military Commission Act, and you don't have any Bill of Rights. And you go under martial law. And they shut the grid down. Then that can become death and destruction. And as the pre-incident period begins to close, the tension escalates in a lot of people. Some of you can see it and sense it, and some of you are discerning, and some of it's right in your face. But please be careful about time dating it on specific dates. You can't stop most of this. Once some things are released, it's difficult to pull them back in, especially, per se, bioweapons. Maybe this hybrid staged viral outbreak in late April that's probably going to come back. I'm going to stop this video and we'll come back with part 3.